Here is the second part of absolute value equations. Continuing on to the next right-hand side page, page 43. Example C, write an equation involving absolute value from the graph. So in this time, we have a graph and we need to write the equation. You'll note that it's the exact same graph from example B, so we already know what the equation should be. But let's go through and solve. Here is a pattern that I show my students. In the absolute value sign, we have x minus whatever the midpoint is. And that's going to equal how far away each point is from the midpoint. So in order to use this little template that I show my students, you need to first find the midpoint between -4 and 6. You can count it on a number line, but the easiest way is to just add the values and divide by 2. So we would add -4 plus 6 and divide by 2. Then you need to find the absolute value distance each value is from that midpoint. So let's go through the steps. The first one, -4 plus 6 divided by 2. Simplified is equal to 1. So now step 2, what's the distance? In other words, how far away is -4 from 1 and how far away is 6 from 1? Or I can just use my absolute values. 1 minus 6, the distance is 5. Or 1 minus -4, I would still get 5. Because if we take the absolute value of 1 minus -4, keep change, it's still the absolute value of 5 or 5. So at this point, all you need to do is fill in the equation from the form above. In the form above, x minus whatever the midpoint is. The midpoint was 1 because you just add the values and divide by 2. There's your 1. We figure out how far away those dots are on our graph, the points are from the graph, from the midpoint, by subtracting the midpoint minus the point, the midpoint minus the point. And then we got 5, so that's where this goes right here from this. Use this form every time, and you should be able to get your equation from a graph. On the left side, page 42, this is what we are working on for class work. Go ahead and pause the video here, try to get your equations, and then resume and you'll see the answers. Here's the answer for number 1. Our equation, the absolute value of x plus 7 equals 3. I take my 2 points and I find the midpoint by adding and dividing by 2. I get -7. I figure out how far away the point is from the midpoint, and that's 3. So using my form, x minus the midpoint is -7. And how far away are those points from that midpoint? 3 places. Remember to simplify though. Same thing here. Add and divide by 2 from these to get your midpoint. And then how far away from the values? But remember to simplify, keep change for our final answer.